these millions I need 100 a show. If you can't pay, it's a no. I would never sell my soul. It's just the truth, you know. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I been lost my bros. That's just how the game goes. Came along and get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me strive, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell lies.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, Grant Hefe. Joined with me recently, now new, my co-host, OG Raw. Hey, bro, how you doing today, man?
Hey, man, good morning. Great morning. A lot of great things happened this weekend in the world of sports. We're going to have to get into it, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hop off in it. The college football playoffs were played on Saturday night. Clemson played Notre Dame in the earlier game, and then Alabama played Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. Just general takeaway. What happened?
Wait a minute. Clemson did not play Notre Dame. Clemson murdered Notre Dame on national television.
So you're telling me that it wasn't even close? That's what you're telling me?
It wasn't even close. I don't even know why they were playing that team. The college football guys need to go back, relook some things about this playoff format. Notre Dame should not be playing a team like Clemson. They should be playing a team like UCF. But on the other hand, at least Oklahoma put up a fight against Alabama. So
I didn't really like that Oklahoma-Alabama game at all. I knew. Remember, we did this show on Friday, and I told you what were going to happen with Clemson and Notre Dame. That team is loaded, and Clemson started out the game really slow. They had a lot of penalties, drop the touchdown pass. They had a lot of stuff go. I don't know. Maybe it was the first year nerves or something like that for Trevor Lawrence. Notre Dame brought a lot of pressure at the beginning of that game. But after Clemson settled down, Clemson showed you why they are the number 2 team in the country, why they've been number 2 all year long. If it wasn't for Alabama, they'd probably be number 1. That Alabama-Oklahoma game, I didn't like that game at all. I think that game got out so quick. It was 28-0 before Oklahoma could even blink. And I thought Alabama kind of just took a few steps back. I don't think that they were as interested anymore in actually playing sound fundamental football. I thought they were just trying to embarrass Kyler Murray because they had heard too much about Kyler Murray in the weeks leading up to it. What you think about that?
Yeah, they definitely, Coach Nick, he's that guy that's like, he'll talk great about his opponents,
Yeah, and don't respect them at all.
Yeah, and then he doesn't respect them at all. He's like, let's go out there and put this beating on them on national television.
Exactly. Let's do this. And that's exactly how I felt. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, I said, I don't know if I said it on this show or whether I said it on the RTL Sports Talk show. By the way, before we get too deep in this, I appreciate everybody who's listening, whether you listening via Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Breaker, Stitcher. Soon we already in the works for iHeartRadio. It's already been submitted. We should be hearing something back in a few, probably by the end of this week or so. We should be hearing something back from iHeartRadio, but we're going to be on iHeartRadio soon. But I just want to thank you guys for however you listen to this podcast. I appreciate it. But I think Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, they are the masters at that. They are the masters at giving credit to people that probably don't really deserve credit. And Kyler Murray deserves all the credit. He's big time. But when they don't really respect you, they're still going to go up in the media and they're going to talk about how good you are or how great you are. That's classic Nick Saban and Bill Belichick right there for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's what they do. And that's part of them what makes them a great coach. That they'll respect their opponent to a fault. You know what I'm saying? They'll respect them to a fault. And that fault is, hey, they're another team, another opponent. But we know we're going to win. So, we're going to keep our mouth shut. We're going to say the right thing. But on that field, we're going to show you. We're going to show you who the real football team is. We're going to show you who the best is. We're going to go out there and punch you in your mouth and make you think twice about playing Alabama or playing the Patriots. So
agreed. So let me ask you this. We're not going to get into the actual who wins, who lose yet. We'll get into that later on down the week. But what is your keys for the national championship game? It's on the 7th. I think that's this upcoming Monday. What is the keys for, let's say, for Clemson to be able to beat Alabama? Because Alabama is the juggernaut. Everybody is really expecting Alabama to win this game. What is some keys for Alabama to do? Is that put pressure on Tua, make sure that ankle is really, really healthy? Because I don't think Oklahoma did it at all.
Go ahead. Clemson defense came out in that second quarter and played, against Notre Dame. That's what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to be firing on all cylinders versus Alabama offense, because they have a high-powered offense, and Tua, he can throw the ball, and he can get a little mobile.
Oh, he can sling
it.
So, he can sling it.
Yeah, he can get a little mobile as well. So they gotta put pressure on him, keep him in that pocket, and pressure that pocket, and make sure he doesn't get outside that pocket. And if they do that, I think the Clemson defensive line is good enough to do that.
Yeah, those boys are good. Now, the one question about that defensive line is Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, the guy, he didn't play on Saturday night, but there's still some unclear things about whether or not he's going to play in this upcoming national championship game. Now, Nick Saban has already said his players that's suspended for violating team rules, they're done for the year. Don't even worry about it. That's classic Nick Saban. And right. I like it. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Dexter Lawrence, because his is more of a NCAA violation rather than a team violation. So I'm not sure whether or not the NCAA is going to suspend him for this game as well. But I think even without him, Christian Wilkins and Cleveland Farrell, those guys are good enough. They're going to get it done. Huggins, that guy, he's experienced. It's not like he's a guy that haven't played all year. He plays a lot. Brent Venables rotate his defensive linemen in and out. So I think those guys will be just fine there. Any closing thoughts before we go ahead and move on to the CP3?
Yeah, so I don't see Dexter Lawrence playing this game. I don't see the NCAA lifting, his suspension. So Clemson, they're going to have to, give what they got, work with the guys they have on the team. And for them to be successful, that's what they're going to have to do.
And they're more than capable of doing it. I mean, those guys can get it done.
So,
Christian Wilkins is actually their best defensive lineman. Dexter Lawrence is just he's also going to be a first-round pick. And,
he's a big name.
He's a big name.
Watch,
so. But Wilkins is the guy that make that defensive line go. He's the 2-time All-American, 3-time All-ACC guy. That's the guy that's going to be picked first off that offensive line. Off that D line, anyways. But missing Dexter Lawrence is definitely going to hurt for sure.
Exactly.
Especially playing against Alabama, they want to pound that rock right up the middle on you, and they're going to try Huggins. They're going to try him. Dexter Lawrence not there. They're going to try right there. But I think Clemson will be fine. Moving on. James Harden has been killing it as of late, man. Averaging 33. He's averaging 33 points right now. He's been absolutely playing lights out since CP3 got hurt, and he hasn't been in the lineup. So I asked you this question because they play the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, but let alone the game in general, do the Houston Rockets really need CP3? Or is it just a facade right now? It's just something to talk about because he's hot right now.
I don't think they need CP3 for the regular season. James Harden shows in the regular season that he is almost unstoppable just by his game, like the way he plays the game of basketball and the way the referees protect him. He shows that he's basically unstoppable. But when we get to the playoffs, we get a different James Harden and we get different referees. They don't call some of the petty fouls they call during the regular season. So that takes away from his game, his strategy. So I think down in the playoff stretch, yes, you need CP3. But during the regular season, let James go out there and play if you want to be into them playoffs. Just let him go out there and play. CP3, you can just continue to ride the bench and cheer the team on.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. You probably couldn't have said it no more perfect than that. James Harden, we've seen this James Harden before. We say it every single year. We say it every single regular season.
Every year.
And we have these conversations. Is James Harden the best offensive player we ever seen? It was the same conversation it was last year. Is he the best offensive player that the NBA has ever seen? You know, oh my God, he's killing it. Yeah, he's lighting it up. He can score points. He shoots 17 free throws a game. So that's also going to bolster up that 33 points per game average. You know, when you're shooting as many free throws. To your referee point, the referees are not going to let him do all of that flinging himself into people and all that other stuff. They don't do that in the playoffs, which is the reason why James Harden struggled. So and I'm not going to say James Harden don't have any skill because that'd be stupid to say.
That'd be stupid to say, yeah.
Yeah, but in context, when you don't have any skill other than throwing yourself into people, hoping to get to the line, getting people in foul trouble, it's harder to do that in the playoffs when the referees are just going to sit there and look at you like, are you going to keep playing or are you going to keep crying for calls? Because we're not going to give you that in the playoffs. We're not going to be this soft in the playoffs. And I think that's why James Harden struggled. The first year that we had this conversation, they get put out by the Spurs in 5 or 6, I believe it was. And James Harden was a no-show. Last year, if it really wasn't for Chris Paul, they wouldn't even been in that game against the Warriors.
And had Chris Paul not gotten hurt, I believe they would have beat the Warriors. They would have
beat the Warriors
down.
Yeah, they would have beat the Warriors. 2 games left, 1 game left in Houston with Chris Paul, the guy who had been killing them all series long. He was guarding Durant. He would guard Curry. He would guard everybody. He was the only guy making the big shots. James Harden was taking them. So unlike past seasons where he was like, well, people was getting on me for not shooting the ball, I'm just going to shoot it this year. So they got nothing to say.
Horribly,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. He heard the whispers that James Harden scared to shoot the ball. So what did he do last year? He was letting it ride. People were saying, "Stop shooting, James." And I bet in his mind, he's like, "Listen, y'all said I wasn't shooting last year. Bop, here go another break for you.
Let me quiet some of these people." But all he did was make them talk louder.
He was bricking.
I think he had the worst 3-point percentage in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, at one point he was like one of 20 something or something like that from 3. It was bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think in the regular season, James Harden is all you need. They've jumped up in that 5th slot now. They were out of the playoffs. Now they're in the 5th. They're in the 5th seed, 1 game above the Lakers. And speaking of those Lakers, LeBron is more than a athlete or whatever that series is called that he's doing on ESPN Plus with his friends, Rich Paul and the guys. You know, they were sitting down. They released part of the episode yesterday. And, you know, LeBron James was sitting down talking to Maverick and the guys. And he's saying that 2016 finals or 2016 finals, when they came back down 3-1 to the 73-9 greatest regular season team of all time, 2-time MVP, back-to-back Steph Curry. That year, he was a unanimous MVP, first unanimous MVP ever in the NBA. And that's crazy to even think about. But LeBron said once he beat that 73-9 team, that made him the GOAT. He told himself, you may just be the greatest of all, or you are the greatest of all time. Do you agree LeBron James is the greatest of all time? Or is that just
I'm a LeBron fanboy.
Yeah, I already know. Me as well.
LeBron is the greatest of my generation. He's the greatest I've ever seen. So in my eyes, yes, he's the greatest of all time. I didn't get a chance to really watch Jordan grow up. You know, when Jordan was playing, I was maybe 5, 6 years old. I didn't really understand the game of basketball the way I do now. But when I go back and look at some of the things Jordan did and, you know, how he three-peated and how he won, 6 championships and all that good stuff, I take all that stuff into account. But the NBA was way different back then, way different. And then having a team like Golden State that just let it rain threes and that can add the, score up really fast on you. And LeBron beating a team that had the 73-9 record. Man, that really kind of solidified his legacy in my eyes. I told myself when LeBron stops playing, maybe I'll just stop watching basketball because I don't think we'll see any greater talent than that in the league. So, but he's definitely a GOAT in my eyes. And definitely the greatest of all time in my eyes. So
I mean, you made you laid that out, perfect. You didn't really go too deep into stuff. You didn't really leave me shallow there. I mean, that was perfect for me.
right,
I'm one of the biggest LeBron James fans outside of you. I already know how we are. The thing, I think LeBron James is the best basketball player I've ever seen. I think he's the best basketball player I've ever seen. But with that being said, there's something about losing to the Dallas Mavericks when they only had Dirk Nowitzki, J.J. Barea, Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, Deshaun Stevenson, Tyson Chandler, a bunch of nobodies, really, when you think of the grand scheme of things. Jason Kidd, he was already past his prime. He retired that very next offseason. Tyson Chandler still playing, but Tyson Chandler at that point was nothing more than just a rebound and a hustle guy. Dirk was the only guy they had. We let guys like J.J. Barea average 17 or something that series when LeBron only averaged 17 in that series. So really the only way that I think LeBron in my eyes can become the GOAT as far as in the NBA, I still think he's the best basketball player I've ever seen. Just general talent, a guy who got passing skills like magic, who is quick as a Russell Westbrook, or he's quick like a guard. Can guard every position on the floor, at least 1 through 4 effectively. Some fives. He can't guard all the fives. I won't say that.
And I understand what you're saying about, the Dallas Mavericks, series, and how LeBron and, his big three should have won that. Just saying it was a first shaky year, and not having that chemistry with your teammates. He was going through a lot of things with the move, leaving his hometown. So it was
yeah, but I can't
more to it than
I can't give him
basketball.
a pass. But I can't give him a pass on that. Why? Because you are the best player. At that time, there was no it honestly right now still there's really not question. But at that time, there was really no question who was the best player in the NBA at that time. And it was LeBron James. And there's no way that you can come out and lay an egg. There's no way that you can play as good as you played during the rest of the playoffs. You get to the NBA Finals and you literally lay an egg. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. There was times where I was asking myself, like, is LeBron even playing? Like, is LeBron even in this game? Now, I hate to be this guy. Yeah, I hate to be this guy. I hate to be this guy because I hate when other people be this guy. But on this scenario, I think it's fair. Jordan would have never allowed that. With 2 other All-Stars in their prime, and they're facing literally a clearly inferior team that only literally had Dirk. There's no way Jordan loses that 4-2. You don't even go to a game 7 at least. That I just can't. But let's not overblow who Jordan was as a player. This guy was 1-8 before Scottie Pippen came on that team. He won all 6 of his. Yeah, he won all 6 of his titles with Scottie Pippen. He didn't win one without Scottie Pippen.
And
people forget.
Go in there that deep. I wasn't even going to take it that far, into what Jordan did before he got his role players and the players he was able to create chemistry with. I wasn't going to go into all that. But since we're there, I just want to say that chemistry and having role players is kind of a big deal. You gotta have a solid team, a team that's ready for the challenge, like going to the NBA Finals. Like LeBron, you could take the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals every year, but we know they didn't have that chemistry. They didn't have the role players to fulfill the role. They just had one great player. So I'm not saying the big three, they didn't have great players, but I'm just saying maybe the chemistry wasn't there for that particular event,
Yeah, I can get that, but that for me, that's the only reason why I can't say as far as NBA goes. As far as NBA, I think the only way in my eyes LeBron can beat a GOAT is if he beat this team right here with Kevin Durant. Because you have to look at that Dallas Mavericks series. You just have to. I mean, even in the 80s when Jordan was losing, let's not get it confused. I mean, he was losing to good teams. He was losing to Larry Bird Celtics and McHale and all these guys, and 3 straight years to Isaiah Thomas's bad boy. So it wasn't like he was losing to sorry teams, but I think people start to overblow how good Jordan really was, as if they only mentioned 6 for 6, as if he's only played 6 years. Jordan played 13 years or 15 years in the NBA, and we only hear about 6 of those seasons. I wonder why. And it's because he was getting his behind toe up, just like LeBron was getting his behind toe up before they actually got some help. So that's the only reason. It's the truth, man. You know, Jordan was getting swept out of the finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. He was getting beat by the Celtics. I mean, beat by the Celtics. He was getting manhandled by the bad boy Pistons before he got some help.
Playing with him.
Yeah, before he got some help. You know, there's no secret why he wanted Dennis Rodman to join him in Chicago rather than have to play against the Pistons every year, because he was tough. It's not like, and people make it seem like Jordan won all 6 titles by himself. Jordan had plenty of help.
He had Steve
Kerr, 5-time champion. Dennis Rodman, one of the top 50 greatest players of all time. Scottie Pippen, top 50 greatest player of all time. God dang it, Phil Jackson, one of the greatest coaches to people of all time. Exactly. You know, it's not Horace Grant, Cartwright, cool coach.
And check this out: LeBron has never had a real coach, like a great coach.
No, he's never had a good coach.
He's never had a great coach. It's been LeBron coaching, I believe.
And that's the reason why. Yeah,
he hasn't had a coach, you know, like Popovich. You know, he's never been in a system like that. And I believe in the right system with a great coach. Oh, LeBron there would be no question who the GOAT was.
I think a system. I think a system and where the coach could start making adjustments instead of having and people say LeBron tried to take over the team. He tried to coach the team. But let's run down these coaches that he's had. Larry Drew, trash. The guy that's sitting, Mike, I'm forgetting his last name. The guy that's on Mike Brown, that's on Steve Kerr's staff right now, trash. David Black, trash. Tyronn Lue, trash. Eric Spoelstra didn't even make it to an NBA Finals before LeBron got there, and haven't even done it since he left. Trash. Luke Walton, he played with Luke. Luke, trash. I mean, I'm just saying, had he played with a coach that could at least shine his shoes, I think it would be a different story. Like getting Mark Jackson right now, the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, I guarantee you'll see a different LeBron.
Oh, yeah. Way different LeBron.
You'll see a different LeBron with a better coach.
Because you remember when J.R. Smith, you know, the J.R. Smith ordeal during the playoffs? So Coach Ty Lue is just on the sideline, you know, chilling during that time. He didn't care. He was like,
yeah, he don't even care, bro. Like, shoot, well, we made the overtime. That's good enough for me. Yeah, like if he ever had a better coach, I think we'll be having a different discussions. I think a lot of people just get wrapped up in rings for Jordan, 6 for 6 and all this other stuff. And, you know, I think it's more to basketball than just the rings because it's a team sport. I always ask those people or tell those people, we're not playing tennis. We're not playing golf. We're not swimming. You know, your individual, your championships are not an individual accolade.
And all championships aren't created equal. So
exactly. I mean, let's look at it. LeBron James has averaged over 30 points in all of his final losses, except for the first 3. The first one against San Antonio when he was in Cleveland the first time. You know, the finals loss against Dallas, and then the finals loss against the Spurs, in which he averaged 27. So, I mean, that's not like it was just some walk in the park. He's been averaging 30 points in all of these Golden State Warriors losses. So, for me, yeah, Jordan was great. He won his 6 for 6, but Jordan has never had to play a team such as these Golden State Warriors right here. And I don't even think it's close. Let's be honest.
It's not close at all.
The teams that were this good, the Bird teams and the Isaiah teams,
and those are the
beat
teams that beat up on Jordan.
Yeah, those are the teams that beat him. So for me, I just don't see that being the end all be all. But we're gonna move on to our final topic of the day, the NFL week. The NFL regular season is over with. Week 17 was yesterday. Playoffs is already set. We're not going to pick games right now, but just what was your overall takeover from week 17 or the NFL season in general? What are you looking forward to going into the playoffs?
Week 17. So the Cowboys, they really showed me something. Dak Prescott on that game-winning drive, the way he went down the field, he rolled out the pocket on that one play, threw it to Michael Gallup, and man, like I said, heck of a catch, heck of a throw. It was amazing, man. It was probably one of the best games I've seen this Sunday. And then also, they went for the 2-point conversion to win the game. They was like, we're gonna win this game right now. We ain't finna go overtime. We're not about to do any of that. So I really like what Dallas did Sunday. I look forward to seeing them play the Seahawks this Sunday next Sunday as well. With my Bears, I knew we were going to beat the Vikings. I like how Matt Nagy did.
As you talk about the Bears, Phil walks in right now.
Yeah, Matt Nagy did not let up at all. Even when we put in our second string players, they were getting after Kirk. We were on Kirk head. Kirk Cousins is an $84 million bust. I don't care what
he's 0-8 now in those primetime games. I was high on Kirk Cousins at the beginning of the season, actually through a lot of the season, and I thought he would be a little bit better with Diggs and Thielen and Rudolph and Cook. I mean, it's not like he don't have a team there,
Yep.
I also think with the Minnesota Vikings, though, I thought their defense let them down earlier in the year when Kirk Cousins was actually playing good. I think at one point Kirk Cousins only had like 2 interceptions to like 14 touchdowns or something like that. But I think the defense at one point, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings defense that was literally statistically the number 1 overall defense in the NFL last year.
Yeah,
and they just took a total step back. They didn't get Kirk Cousins to act like he was Joe Montana. I thought they got Kirk Cousins to kind of help that defense because Case Keenum is what Case Keenum is, and they didn't really see much going on.
You can't have an $84 million quarterback and tell him, hey, don't mess up my defense. You got to tell him, hey, sling that thing, go get us touchdown.
Yeah, you got to sling it. You getting $84 million. I definitely agree with that. 84 guaranteed. Yeah, you go ahead.
They kind of put a leash on them, so that's their own fault, I believe. They built that monster.
So let me ask you this question, because I've been talking about this all year. What you think of the Steelers? Out of the playoffs, all the talk all year. Big Ben, we don't need Le'Veon. We only going to worry about the guys here. David DeCastro, Mike Pouncey. We made Le'Veon Bell. We don't need this. Mike Tomlin, nonchalant all year long. Now they were in a situation where they needed Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns to beat a hot Baltimore Ravens team that had came in 5 of their last 6. Lamar Jackson, not the best quarterback, but it seemed like that team is responding to what he's doing. What you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Great.
As they reevaluate this offseason. And they're going to have to give Le'Veon Bell that franchise tag next year, or they're going to have to trade him.
I'm grateful that they lost. I was tired of hearing Steelers fans about we don't need Le'Veon. Shut up. Yes, you do. You need Le'Veon because James Conner is not going to do it for you. Big Ben is not going to do it for you. Shut up. You need Le'Veon. Re-sign the man. Get that man the money he deserves. He just showed y'all why y'all need him, and y'all just showed the world why y'all need him. So shut up, pay the man.
I think Le'Veon is done in Pittsburgh, and for obvious reasons. When you got offensive line coming out saying that they made you and they did all this and that, I wouldn't want to run behind that at all. Just me personally. When you got your head coach basically saying, "Hey man, whatever." The quarterback that you didn't have for the last 5 years, ever since you got drafted, is just, hey man, whatever, we don't need him. It's different with saying next man up, as if the Patriots do. Tom Brady does it, next man up. But there's another thing of saying like we don't need you, and they were saying we don't need you.
Yeah, that's a slap in the face. We don't. Yeah,
that's a slap in the face. For a guy that had 321 carries last year and 85 receptions to go along with that, 75 receptions the year prior. You just cannot replace almost 160 total yards 160 catches. That's just unbelievable. Let me ask you this.
I just got some
Go ahead.
breaking news too. So Leonard Fournette, his contract is probably going to be voided by the Jacksonville Jaguars after the fight in Buffalo because of the contract clauses.
Yeah,
So
I had seen something
he
like that
might be a
yesterday
free
that him
agent
and the Jacksonville
here
Jaguars
soon.
was going through their spat. I kind of figured that, which is the reason why he didn't play yesterday. I know that he wasn't hurt to my knowledge. But let me ask you this, and I want one team from each conference. Outside of the number one seed for both teams, the Rams, the Steelers. I mean, the Rams, the Saints, the Patriots, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me one team from each conference playing in these wild card games that you really don't want to see. Both teams, NFC. So I think on Saturday we're going to get the Seahawks and the Cowboys, and then I'm drawing a blank on this
I
on
don't want to see
the Colts and the Texans.
And
then on Sunday we got the Chargers and the Ravens, Eagles and Bears. Who you don't want to see?
I don't want to see the Chargers and the Ravens game. I don't believe it will be a game. Really. I believe the Chargers, that you see the formation that the Ravens run out of. It's like a little wildcat formation that he gives the quarterback the option basically to run or to hand the ball off, right? So that's easy to stop. Easy to stop. I don't believe that will work against the Chargers because they have a coach. They have a coach over there. They're not the Cleveland Browns that, they just willy-nilly things. The defense isn't that great. So if they come out and run their formation against the Chargers, I believe that formation will be shut down. They will have to shut it down. That's the only way the Chargers will be able to advance. Because if they don't shut that formation down, it's going to be a long day for the Chargers. Because Lamar Jackson can really
there will be a Lamar Miller playing, but
he can really get it. And then that running back they got over there with the Ravens, he can really get it. But if they shut that formation down, that's the key to that game. Shut that formation down. If it's shut down, game over. It's done.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. I think the toughest team that's in the playoffs right now, or the scariest team that's in the playoffs, from either side, really, is the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, this team, where they overcome this season. I know the Colts is tough. They won nine of their last 10. With their only loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't even know how they really lost that one, and they got shut out in that game. And at that point, Andrew Luck was 8 straight games over 300 yards passing. But this Seattle Seahawks team, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, is something about a team that's been there, that's done that know how to get there, and they are playing against a Cowboys team that really nobody really believes in. So for me, I think the Seahawks is probably one of the scariest teams. Give me your scariest team in the playoffs.
Scariest team in the playoffs, Chicago Bears.
I already know you're going to say the Chicago Bears. I already knew that was going to happen.
Look what we do to quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, we just turned him into an $84 million bust. What we do, the way we get at the quarterbacks and the way the defense just swarms the ball when they see it, it's the best thing I've ever seen in football. It makes football enjoyable to watch. We hit the quarterback the right way. We're the least penalized team. Yesterday, Mukamara had a couple, PIs, but I think overall he played well, even though I give him a hard time, call him a bum every now and then. But just watching our defense play and other teams seeing our defense, it's something scary, man. They admitted it in the media, like the Bears defense is pretty solid defense. And yeah, man, I think the Bears are gonna wreak havoc through this playoff.
So I'm gonna say this: y'all are gonna get Philly. Sure enough, y'all are gonna get Philly. Now, there's one thing about the Bears: they're 7-1 at home. I mean, that's impressive. But you didn't get home field throughout. You only got, just that one playoff game against the Eagles right here on Wild Card Weekend. You think you can go to the Dome in New Orleans, Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and beat that Saints team?
As long as we put that pressure on a 40-year-old Drew Brees, we can do anything we want to do down there in that dome.
Or I'm sorry, you won't play the Saints. I'm sorry. You guys will get the 2 seed, which is the Rams. Y'all have to play them in LA. I'm sorry. The winner of the Seahawks Cowboys get to play Saints.
The Rams
I don't know
with that loss. They was like, man, we lost to the Bears already.
I don't know if they care so much about that loss. And let me tell you why. Playing at Soldier Field is tough. Yeah, I mean, y'all won at Soldier Field. It's difficult to play there, especially for a West Coast team that used to play in the hot weather. Trust, I hated playing in cold weather when I was playing. Your body just don't even feel right.
Yeah, it don't feel right.
It's going to be different when Yeah, it's gonna be different when those fast guys like Brandon Cook is still loose because it's hot. You know, and Todd Gurley should be back. Whoever, who knows how healthy he will be. But Todd Gurley is gonna be there. It's gonna be a different game. I'm not saying you guys can't win that game, but I'm just saying there's gonna be a different game than what we saw in Week 15 at Soldier Field. That is gonna be a totally different Rams team. This Eagles team is not to be played with either. You know, they're a scary team that lucked into the playoffs, and you guys, got to choose which team you wanted to play. Because if you beat Minnesota, obviously the Eagles were going to get in. If you lost to Minnesota, obviously you was going to have to play Minnesota coming up on Sunday.
I'm glad we beat Minnesota because I did not want to watch a part 3. I didn't
really want to watch y'all play the Vikings for the third time this year. I really didn't want to see that. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't want to see the Vikings and the Bears, two mediocre teams, play
what
3 times in 1 year.
Being disrespectful.
Listen,
I don't like that. You being disrespectful.
No, I'm being honest
I didn't
because
say anything about the Cleveland Browns.
Don't say anything about my Cleveland Browns. We already know what we is, though.
Mediocre.
We already know what we is.
We mediocre, huh?
Yeah, the Bears are a mediocre team.
Well, that's why Baker Mayfield won't get Rookie of the Year.
No, Baker Mayfield's going to get Rookie of the Year.
No, not that. He threw 3 interceptions yesterday. Saquon
went but he also threw 3 touchdowns, 300-some yards against literally the best defense in the NFL on the road. I think that's pretty good. Saquon played they played the Cowboys. It was nice. I mean, they played the Eagles. No. Eagles
played.
Eagles did play. Eagles did play the Giants yesterday. Because the Redskins. True. I flip flopped it.
Yeah.
Giants did play But you look at your guys' schedule this year, right? Who have you beat?
What? We beat
Who have
the Rams.
you beat? You beat the Seattle team early in the year when they started out like 1-5. I mean 1-4.
Come on.
You lost to the Patriots, which was a big game. You lost to the.
Who have you played?
You haven't played anybody
by literally like 3
You haven't played anybody, and you were benefit. We're going to see where the Bears are next year. The NFL have this good thing, where whenever you come in first place in the division, the next year you play all the first place teams. So we're going to see how good the Bears are next year. This year they played a weak schedule because of where their record was the previous year. We're going to see how good the Chicago Bears is next year.
I'm going to see this. You're not going to have to wait until all the way to next season.
We're going to stay in the playoffs, right? That's what you're telling me.
We're about to win the Super Bowl, Billy.
Right.
This is what is going to happen.
Right. You're going to the Super Bowl. I don't believe that for 1 second. But on that note, that's going to be it for today's show. You got anything you want to leave us out on?
Oh, man, be good, be kind, love one another. Again, this is another episode of Unpopular Opinion. Make sure you go subscribe, hit that button, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow for another show. Thank you.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody for the show. Make sure you guys catch us every single weekday, Monday through Friday. Now we picked it up 5 days a week. Also, make sure you catch me on RTL Sports Talk on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate all the love and support. Appreciate you guys.